In this video, we're going to be replacing the driver's side hood hinge on this 96 Ford F-150. The process will be the exact same for the passenger side. So now replacing one of your hinges is an easy job to do with two people. If you don't have two people, and you have some kind of support that you can put in place to hold up the side of your hood that you're working on, that's going to be a benefit. It'll hold the hood up while you remove the hinge. So with our support in place, we can now work on our 4 bolts holding in our hinge. So now before we start to remove our 4 bolts on our hinge, we're going to remove our harness which goes up to our hood light. I'm going to use a panel tool and pop out that clip. Move that aside. So our top 2 bolts here into our hood are going to be 10 millimeters. We'll take these out. Okay, so as soon as you remove this bottom bolt, you can see now that your hood is totally free, just being held in by this hinge here, or this spring. So you want to be careful not to move your hood too much, or if at all. Keep everything in the same place. Also, you don't want your hood, to rotate and spin and do any damage to your windshield. So you can see now that your hood will want to slide backwards and rest on your cowl here. So what we're going to do is put a rag underneath here to stop any paint damage. So now for a little easier access, we're going to take our hinge and just thread in our top bolt, a couple of threads, just to keep that hinge out of our way while we remove the bottom 2 bolts. Now we'll take out our bottom 2 bolts. So for speed here, we're going to loosen these up. We'll come back with our electric tool and buzz them out quickly. And now we can take this top bolt back out and remove our hinge. So here's our new hood hinge, and you can tell it's a different color. You can paint match these to match your color of the vehicle, or you can put it in just like this. To put it in, it's the reverse of the removal. What we're going to do here is line up one of our top bolts, get that loosely started, and we're going to line up one of our bottom bolts, because you can see we're very close but a little misaligned. So we'll get these 2 bolts in to hold things loosely in place. And we'll start our other bolts as well. Now you do have a little bit of adjustment. You'll notice that these holes are slotted for a little bit of movement up and down. You would ideally put them back in the same position if you didn't have any damage to the vehicle and needed to reposition your hood. So we're going to do just that, try and put them back right in the same position. Now our bottom bolt won't thread in because our hood is too far away. So this is where we're going to have to lift our hood and bring it back in closer. All right, and now we're just going to loosely snug this up so we have a little bit of movement so we can align this bracket where it needs to go. All right, and as we get closer, we'll start to get a little tighter and a little bit closer to exactly where the hinge needs to sit. You can see we still have plenty of movement. So before we go any further, we should mention that you may have to adjust both of your brackets, top and bottom here, to get your hood to open and close and line up and gap correctly against your cowl and against your fender. Now, there are adjustments top and bottom. They're slotted, so you may have to adjust up and down to get it to open and close back here to line up, and you may have to adjust front and back here to get it to align this way for your gap here. Don't be afraid of doing this a couple of times to get it to line up. Once you get it dialed in, go ahead and tighten them down. Once you have your 4 bolts tightened down, gap's looking good, we can take this harness and clip it back in.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.